Yes, we are habitually in this position.
We are habitually late,
Well, no,
and
it
I'm
was just
and
it was
I'm
the invite.
blast.
The invite button. Like I hit it, and then you have to turn the phone. Once you turn the phone, then you have to wait for it to let you go in.
Okay,
So
and
just a little bit of a process. But
I
we're
lit
here. We made it.
I literally just stopped moving, so I need the viewers to everyone needs to settle down. I'm just getting settled in here.
Well, I've finally calmed down.
Calm down from what?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, that car.
Well, let's. I digress, Ira. I digress. Okay, Ira and all of our viewers, welcome to the On Blast podcast, live every Sunday. We are here, we are alive, and we are ready to dish the goods, whatever that may be that week. If you guys don't follow us already on Facebook and Instagram, you know the drill. You gotta follow us, and then go on
And you got to follow us
YouTube.
on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok. We actually just set up a TikTok. So for anyone that doesn't have an attention span longer than me, which is about 20 to 25 seconds, you can go onto TikTok and you can watch our episodes in short clips and get your daily dose of the On Blast. Right, Ira?
Dude, TikTok is, I don't know what to call it, dude. Like, it literally relieves my ADHD like nothing else. Like, Adderall doesn't even do what TikTok does for me.
Really?
TikTok is how I got through COVID. Like, I kid you not. I laid in bed, sick as fuck, just watching TikTok. Because that's all I could do. And then I got addicted to it.
You did mention that you were hooked on the talk.
Oh, man. Like, I couldn't, like, I was in this crummy ass fucking hotel that had this bullshit ass TV, you know, so it was like, fuck it. I get better quality on my phone, so it was like, I watched a little bit of Netflix. I just couldn't, my attention span wouldn't stay on Netflix because I just felt like such shit, you know?
Yeah.
But then like, I was just like, oh, fuck it. Let me go see what's on TikTok. And then I just started scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and next thing I know, it's 4 days later.
Just like that. 4 days later, the
like
whole week was gone.
Seriously.
Wow. Oh man. You know, I was on it earlier today. I found myself in one of those like very dull moments of the day. I was just kind of like, what am I supposed to do right now? So I just kind of sat down and I was like, I haven't really looked at social media recently. And contrary to what other people believe, I live on my phone. However, most of the things I'm doing on my phone pertain to work. You know, I don't really get to sit there and do a whole lot of personal Tony time and just sit there and look at TikTok. So it was really nice to do that earlier and just waste like, you know, an hour or two.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for that, you know, but also one thing I definitely noticed that it allows you to just like zone out, and zoning out, dude, is so fucking beneficial. Like, it is one of the most beneficial things that you could have happen to you. Because like, if you're caught up in a lot of thoughts, or if you're caught up in a lot of emotions or just feelings, you know, the last thing you want to do is keep on rehashing all that, you know. So then something like, and I don't know, like maybe you can relate, you know, from zoning out into something like TikTok, but it allows you to just like get away from all that. So then when you are done doing whatever you're doing, like you're doing some TikTok or whatever, you know, and you come back to reality, you're there. You're a little bit more centered than you were before, you know, and that's what's been beneficial to me, because it allows you to take your mind off those things that, you know, basically are stressing you out or you're angry, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Nina said it to me in an email a couple weeks back, and of course I can relate because I'm a workaholic. It's one thing, and I enjoy working. It's not something that, you know, I think hurts me. I'm sure people could find the flaws in that statement, but Nina mentioned to me a couple weeks back, you know, it's intrinsically important to not be productive in order to be productive. You know, so when you're talking about TikTok, yeah, dude, it is really fucking important to just sometimes not do anything.
Well, I mean, and you know, I'm always constantly fucking 9,000 miles.
Oh yeah, go. Yeah, you never stop.
I mean, and it's like, and this is one thing that allows me to just fucking chill, you know. And to me, that's a godsend, dude.
Do you think it hurts people though, like living on there too? Like, there's this side of things, like what you're talking about. And I think I couldn't agree more. Again, it's really important to just not do anything sometimes. But what's the side of things where it's like you're just living on there like forever?
Well, I mean, Facebook itself. I mean, you got some people that just they live to be trolls. They just scroll through and just like be on everybody else's fucking business, be up their ass. And it's like I scroll through my Facebook page quite often, and it's like I'm just reading some of the shit some of these people say, and it's just like, what the fuck are you thinking? You know, like another thing that's driving me fucking crazy is how soft people are, dude. Like they're trying to cancel. Well, they're trying to cancel Eminem. They're trying to cancel this, cancel that. The thing is, though, is just like, what the fuck are you trying to cancel that for? What you like? It's just like there's so much other shit in the fucking country going on right now that's more important than what the fuck a rapper is saying.
I couldn't agree. I mean, that's cancel culture, though, man. It's just they just want to cancel everything, and you know, I'll be honest, I'm not educated enough on this cancel culture thing. I really don't understand it. I don't know if it's a generational thing.
The direction that they're going in with all that bullshit, it's going to end up turning into something that they really had no fucking idea what they were turning it into. And there's going to be so much censorship to the point where it's like prohibition back in the 40s and the 20s or whatever it was. My dad was around prohibition, so.
Well, I can't relate, unfortunately.
I'm just kidding. My dad's not that old.
I'm like, man, prohibition was a while ago. Like,
yeah.
No, yeah,
like,
I mean.
The thing is, though, is like, they're asking for something that they're not, people aren't thinking these things through. They don't think through the things that they talk about. They don't think through their thoughts. They don't think through, you know, their reaction.
Now, who are we talking about? Are we talking about the people on social media, or are we talking about the people at the top running social media?
Well, I'm speaking solely about social media because, like, that's my main, you know, where we came into this topic. You know, we came into it with social media. And that, so, and the thing is, though, social media is allowing people to basically be internet gangsters. You know, and here's the thing, like, if you're an internet gangster, you better hope somebody doesn't hack you and find out your address and go whoop your fucking ass. You know, because I can guarantee you there's some real motherfuckers out there that really love to smack the shit out of somebody that thinks they can just run their mouth and say whatever they want. You know, and granted, we can run our mouths and say whatever the fuck we want. It's a free country. Yeah,
it's a free country.
Until the cancel culture comes in and then they cancel out what the fuck you're trying to say.
You know, we're in such a weird time in history. We really are, and I say it all the time, but it's so fucking true, man. I don't. Again, I'm not educated enough around this thing. I just know that
I'm just speaking my opinions, just like anybody else.
I just know they're trying to get rid of shit, and you know, I don't know that I totally understand it, to be honest. I mean, look, I think inherently we are selfish people by nature.
Oh,
everyone is selfish. I don't care how selfless you are, because I'm truly probably one of the most selfless people I know.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely are one of the most selfless people I've ever known.
And I'm selfish. There's certain things that I have to be selfish about, you know, and you have to really break that down. Like, man, we just want what we want. And like, unless it affects you, like for me, unless it affects me, what the hell are we gonna go back and forth about? I don't understand it. I was just reading an article in Miami.
I mean, honestly, what I'm, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I'm realizing
not at all
is people have way too much time on their hands with COVID. Because here's the thing: get a fucking job.
Get a job.
Employment and go get a fucking job.
You heard it first, folks.
Social media, get a job.
Ira spoke. He said, "Get off social media and get a job." What's the #1 way you can fix your life? Get a job.
Absolutely. And don't tell me you have a criminal record. Because if I ran down my criminal record and I tell you where I'm at in the corporate chain of my business, like, I don't want to hear shit from nobody.
You know, I like to think we are a product of our circumstances, but sometimes I don't know, man, because there's people like you or like me, and, you know, you make your own circumstances. If you have all this extra time on your hands, you really do have to consider getting one thing I do notice, okay, and I just thought of it, and it's not to knock any of the parents at all, because, you know, if you're a parent, that's great and all, but I have a lot of friends that are now, they're 25, 30s, and they're having kids, and I think that's great. You know, I love kids. I'll be the first to say it. Kids are great. I think the novelty of youth is incredible. I got buddies that are having like 6, 7, 8 kids. I'm like,
look,
I feel like
saying, and that's enough.
Look, you gotta get a hobby, okay? You gotta go out, watch TV or something, because
How many times did you tell me to get a hobby?
Idle hands are the devil's workshop, Ira.
They really are.
I'm telling you, they are. I've been there. I was younger and I didn't have shit to do, and I got into things because I was bored and I wanted to have, you know, be a part of something or do something. But, you know, idle hands are the devil's workshop. You will find yourself doing some weird shit, fucked up shit, if you do not find something that sets your world on fire or gets your ass in gear in some way.
Well, here's the thing. I was the person, when I got bored, I literally set shit on fire. Like, my dad could tell you a whole bunch of stories about shit like that. But, look, and I got it from him. He lit my fucking car on fire going back in 2004. Oh, yeah. You and Pops. He said, hey, Jim, check this out. And he holds a Roman candle. Now, I have the back of my Jeep open, and he shoots the Roman candles all in my Jeep. I'm like, what the fuck?
Roman candles are fun. I won't lie. I've, you know, when I was younger, me and our, you know, a couple buddies, we used to get, you know, a couple packs of those, and we'd have a fun time at a bonfire or something, you know. See who can dance.
Play manhunt and shoot them at each other.
Yeah, let's see who can dance tonight, boys.
I was a sniper up in the trees. I always broke the rules.
breaking the law.
I was always in the trees. I fucking dropped down on people. So you got to do it, man. You got to win.
You have to have fun, though, man. So, you know, and I say that firsthand because, you know, sometimes I don't have enough fun. I take things really seriously, and you know, that's one of those things that I have to, you know, eventually get away from. But you need to have that balance of like enjoying yourself and really like living in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
So what's been going on this week, Ira? We got the first day of spring. I see you got some silver hair.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, holy God, look at, dude, you are so majestic looking. And we've got blue undertones.
Oh, actually, it's lavender. Lavender undertones.
Wow.
So what we call this is ultra instinct. Now, I've ascended to the next level of saying warrior.
Okay. Does that mean you get like a promotion or a raise or?
Not at all.
Are you like?
It just shows where my strength level is at.
I wonder about you. I truly wonder about you.
Don't wonder. Just do some research. You see, if Carlos is watching this, he's gonna be like, "My boy, my boy."
Carlos, our little rapper in the making.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to say.
He's more on reggaeton.
I don't care if he's reggaeton or rigatoni or I don't give one flying shit, but I will say I do hope he does well, and I think he will.
He's making some really good music. I don't know if you heard any of it, but some of his shit's he got some bangers, dude.
You know, man, I'm not really into Sean Paul, but you know, I enjoy reggaeton, whatever that music is that he's making.
Look, me being a musician, you know, I appreciate all cultures of music. I don't like every style, but the thing is, though, is I can sit back and listen and appreciate the sounds that I'm hearing. And yes, I am gonna be able to hear sounds, even though I'm deaf.
You know, Ira, you're such a smart ass, man. I wonder.
Absolutely.
I can hear sounds even though I'm deaf.
Well, I mean, you're the one wearing the freaking headphones.
Well, we hooked up a new mic for this week.
Show him the mic. Show him the mic.
Okay.
This thing is so fucking cool.
The mic is hooked up, right? So you know, we're going full on legit here. I think it's important that the audience gets the best treatment, nothing but the best, and nothing shy of that. So now, in order to hear you, Ira, I have to have these bad boys on. And I will say, these are some of the best headphones in the world. You will not find these anywhere.
I'm glad to see that the headphones and the microphone are actually getting put to good use.
What's that mean?
You're using it very well. It's not collecting dust.
I mean, of course, man. We gotta, you know, if you're gonna spend money on these things or have them around the house, you might as well fucking use them.
Absolutely.
I think that's really important. You know, Ira, so I wanted to talk to you about dating this week. We didn't really have a topic.
Ooh.
We didn't really have a topic this week. We enjoyed freestyling last week. We enjoy I think freestyling this week. But there were a couple things I wanted to talk about. And I want to talk about dating. Dating's big.
Ooh, dating. That's a double-edged sword. It can go great or it can go so bad.
I was with one girl for a lot of years, and I wasn't in the dating scene. But now I'm in the dating scene, I think.
You think?
I'm not entirely sure if I'm in the dating scene.
Okay, I'm listening.
But so I got a little bit of a quandary, okay? And my quandary is, there's this girl that I always thought was like incredibly, oh, she was just beautiful. She was just gorgeous. All right. She had her head on her shoulders, and you know, and I always thought very highly of her. I really did. I thought she was a good person. And you know, I didn't realize, like, you know, texting is like impossible these days. This girl only texts me at night, and then I don't hear from her the next day. What is that about? What is that about?
Maybe she's dating.
Well, you know, I got nothing against her, you know, if that's her style, but I hear from her at night, and you know, again, the fact that our worlds came together, I never thought would ever happen. This girl is, I mean, she's a pretty incredible individual. So I was surprised, but you know, she texts me at night, and then you know, we go back and forth a little bit, and then I don't hear from her. What's that about? I think it's such a cop out. It's like so weird.
Are you getting ghosted, or is it just big gaps between conversation?
No, it's just like, simple example the other night. Hey, what's up? How are you? Good. How are you? What's going on? That's it.
Talking to other people, that's what it is.
And I'm not.
She probably entertaining other people.
I haven't texted her once, Ira. Not once. She texts me every time.
That's all her.
Yeah, I haven't.
All that to you. Why don't you respond?
No, I do respond, but I'm saying I'm not like reaching out to her. Like I'm not the first one to reach out. You know, like, hey, sexy, what are you doing?
Let me stop you right there.
What is that?
First mistake there. Show initiative. Women look for that, Dan.
Well, I'm fine with initiative. Does she want to be chased? Because I don't believe in that. That's something I don't do.
Well, if she's the right one, she's not the one to be chased. You know, she'll want to be with you.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I was like, if she really wants Big Daddy Tone, I'm here.
Tony the Teach and Tiger.
I'm here. I could be anything you want me to be and more. Look, man, I shouldn't be dating, but I'm a young guy. I should be out there, you know? It's I don't know, people do it. I why shouldn't I? So I figured, let me date. And
well, I mean, I'm way out of the dating bracket.
Well, we know you are, but I just thought that was so weird this week, because when I started talking to this girl, I was like, wow. I was like, how the hell did I end up in a conversation with this girl? And I won't use her name, but I was like blown away. I was like, Aunt, did you pull this off? Did you do this? And like every time we get into a conversation, like, it's just like a dead end. I'm like, why are you still talking to me?
You got to come up with that magic sentence that basically changes the whole dynamic. Because that's all it takes sometimes.
Like what?
I don't know this particular woman, so I can't give you any manly advice as to what to say or what not to say.
Well, sure.
The only thing is what you're saying isn't the right thing. That's what I can tell you.
Well, clearly, I mean, the girl says, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm great. What are you doing?" And that's like it. I'm like, "What the fuck?" It's so weird. But dating has been interesting, to say the least, for me.
Have you considered maybe she's more of an actual talker?
Maybe. I'm really short with people, so I don't really know how to, conversate sometimes.
Because you and I mean, we, have no problem talking. We have no problem texting. I have no problem harassing you at any point in the day. You
Of
know, but
course.
and not everybody has that type of communication basis, you know. And one thing I've definitely noticed is it's one or the other. Either people will like prefer texting, or they
Yeah.
prefer talking or like video. You know, so maybe that's something I try to identify. Maybe she's more of a actual verbal or even a visual. I mean, you've been hitting the gym, so you know, like get on the video chat without no shirt on. Like,
Ira, it's clear we are two very different people. Although you could be onto something. I'm not digging too deep into it because I mean, I'm very work focused. Okay, I'm not date girls right now focused. You know, just getting divorced last year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on me. I'm gonna do me, and it took me a lot to get to that point because saying it at the very beginning was like, oh yeah, you're gonna focus on you, and easier said than done. But you know, I got to a point where like now it's like, you know, I'm working my ass off. Do I really want to be dating? Like, is that it's a point of contention I keep coming to. Like, do I really want to be dating right now?
I mean,
And not only
that's a really good question to ask yourself, you know. And here's the thing, and I commend you for that, because a lot of people can't even ask themselves a hard conversation, like a hard question like that, you
yeah,
know. And that's something to really like. What you need to be able to answer that for yourself before you can even start talking to another individual.
I couldn't agree more because you know I keep coming to that question every conversation I have with another woman. I'm like, should I be dating right now? And the fact that I keep coming to that question tells me I probably shouldn't be dating right now, because if there's one thing that really drives me nuts is people that waste my time. So I don't want to ever
Yeah.
be I don't ever want to be that person that wastes someone else's time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Uh,
Like we've had this conversation quite a number of times at GNC.
you know, the truth hurts most when it's true.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a motherfucker to
But I mean, you need to
swallow.
be able to accept the truth. And the thing is, though, is how you process the information. You know, if you're not to terms with where you stand in life, you know, when somebody tells you about yourself, you're going to want to automatically get defensive. But the thing is, though, is if you sit back and just listen and try to break down the dynamic of why this person's actually saying what they're saying to you, you know, a good portion of the time, somebody else's perception, you know, could lead you to, you know, better answers of yourself, because, you know, we don't always see what other people see.
I more often than not don't see what other people see, and I would like to think I'm pretty aware. Uh,
Well,
what was that? Well, you might maybe.
I was gonna say something, but then I had to bite my tongue.
No, I wish you wouldn't have. I wish you wouldn't have. Tell me how you really feel. If you got something to say, say it.
Oh, I don't have anything to say right now.
Something about people like you, Ira. But anyway, dating has
Look,
been.
look. There's always hookers. One night pleasure, and you never got to talk to them again. There, you happy?
Oh, Ira. You know, I was never able to, and I thought we would talk about dating more in a different week, but apparently we've gotten to this conversation this week.
Yeah.
I was never like a one night stand kind of guy. It just wasn't like wasn't my thing.
I could actually connect with you on that one, because that was pretty much the same for me. I tried doing the one night stand things, and you know, I had some, you know, good one night stands,
Yeah,
but at the
sure.
end of the day, though, like it just leaves me feeling unfulfilled. Like what I was craving was more of a human connection, not a sexual connection. You
You
know?
motherfucker, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I find
You
that a
want me to put them
lot
back in? I just open wide. I'll put them back in. No?
watching
Okay.
you.
Don't watch me. Watch TV.
I will add 100% on the money with that, because I do see it a lot now dating. And again, I'm not one for the one night stands. I probably shouldn't put this out there, but who cares? And I did it a couple times, but my thing was totally human connection. It was 10 years ago, which is why the people I was with meant the world to me, and the people I wasn't with didn't mean anything. And it means the same thing today, where it's totally about human connection. And unfortunately, the downside of that is people my age that are dating, they are not interested in connecting with anything other than physically connecting. And sadly, that's not who I am. It never has been, and it never will be.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody around that bracket, they all got Tinder.
That bracket.
Look, and Tinder, Tinder is I mean, I've met the love of my life on Tinder.
And look, if you can meet something meaningful through these apps, social media has done, if it's one thing social media has done and the internet has done, is allow people to connect. And I think that's really, really fucking cool, because like you can connect with someone in a different side of the world right now. Like that, like you send an email, you send a fucking whatever, send a DM or shoot them a message or whatever. So
slide into the DMs.
Slide into the DMs. Just like that, Ira, with the same sound
like
and all.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I go to a gym and this guy always walks in, and he reminds me of my dad because he's a little weird, and my dad was definitely a little weird. And if you want to know what my dad's like, Ira, you can just look at your dad, because your dad's similar to my dad. Anyway, this guy comes into the gym, and I go to like a very bougie gym. Okay,
you do. He's got 3 fucking Olympic cool pools.
Yes, it does have 3 Olympic-sized pools. It is a bougie gym, I won't lie. The demographic there is generally, you know, doctors, lawyers. I mean, these are people that are, you know, they're up there. And there's this guy who I hate that I did this, because he's probably a really nice guy, but I'm still not entirely sure, but I judged him. He came into the gym the one day, and I kind of brushed him off. The next day he came into the gym the same way. And he came in, and he's like walking with his bag, and like, you know, I got my headphones in. I'm like, I'm hard. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. And he's like making these sounds like, I'm like, what are these?
I already identified the issue.
What are these sounds coming from him? And I was almost certain he might have been on drugs, because I was sitting in the steam room and I heard all these sounds, and it sounded like there was like a dozen people outside the steam room, and he's like, and like,
at any point did you consider maybe Tourette Syndrome?
I don't know. I didn't. I really didn't. And if that is the case, I'm such a terrible individual, because I don't know. Like, he said hello to me, and like, I don't know. When people say hello to me at the gym, I try not to make conversation. So like,
yeah.
That's with anyone, but I really hope he doesn't have something going on, because he didn't really give me that impression. He just kind of gave me the impression that he's like out of his mind, which is why he reminded me of my dad, because my dad definitely didn't have Tourette's, but my dad was definitely on a different wavelength.
No, our dads are special.
Special. I like how you said that. Special.
The thing is like, me and my dad, like we're almost 100% alike. Like, my girlfriend tells me all the time, like, you are your fucking dad. And a prime example is us trying to fix my car today, dude. Like, we're trying to get this fucking casing on in this light, and like, time is getting really short, you know, because we got the podcast coming up, and my dad's trying his damnedest to get this thing clasped, and he's getting stressed out and frustrated. So his aura is like translated right into me. So I'm getting frustrated and stressed out, and I want to start breaking shit, and I haven't even done anything. I'm just standing there watching him, and I'm starting to flip out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and I'm just sitting here a few minutes ago, just like my ADHD went off, and I had a whole another thought going on. I was thinking about that, and that's so like, I was just sitting here, and I'm like, I wasn't doing anything. I'm just standing there, and I was getting fucking mad because he's getting mad. Like, that's how you know you're your father's son. When your dad gets mad, you fucking get mad, and you don't even know why you're mad.
My dad used to get mad, man, and I would just walk away. I was not going to be around for when that volcano erupted. No way. No way.
But, I mean, and we got the car fixed, got the class set, like, and oh my God, dude. we're trying so fucking hard. We're so pissed off, and we're about to call it quits. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And so I knocked the bulb, and I just tipped the fucking, like, just a little tight touch on the class, and it clicked right in. I was like, Pop, I got it. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, dead serious. Like, it went like nothing. Like,
dude, you're a mechanic.
No fucking head.
You're a mechanic. You're a pro now.
I am not. I am not. I do not put that moniker on me because everybody will start calling me, hey, you fix my car for free, man.
Anyone looking for a mechanic, Ira's in the works of looking for a new job as a mechanic.
Yeah, and then I'll end up getting a job as a cleaner, not in the dry cleaners.
I could use it. Look, I could use a dry cleaner. I'll be honest.
I'm sure, but you could also use a cleaner too.
What kind of cleaner? What are you cleaning?
You've never seen the movie The Cleaner.
I fucking hate you. You with your movies today. Earlier, you're talking to me about Breaking Bad. You realize I could watch a movie 15 times in a row and never remember watching it?
Probably.
So when you recite movie quotes to me or a movie name, do you think there's anything in my brain that's triggering something that I might remember?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. Nope. Absolutely not. The hippocampus is not doing its job anymore. It does not remember things.
What the medulla oblongata?
The medulla oblongata. The medulla. I hate
The
you.
oblongata.
People are gonna stop watching us. They're gonna be like, these guys are fucked up.
That was another movie reference. My dad gets it. It's one of his favorite movies.
Oh, Pops. He's truly one of a kind, that Pops.
Yeah, he is.
So, Ira.
And let's backtrack a little. When it comes to selfless, he's one of the most selfless individuals I've ever known also. Like, you know, he ran the Roxbury Mall for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And the amount of shit that he did for people, like, he went above and beyond. Like, I mean, if he could walk over a mountain just to fix something for somebody, he fucking did it. Like, in this mall, like, everybody cherished him in such a way, you know, because it's not too often you have somebody that goes the distance. You don't have, like, he took so much pride in what he did. He took so much pride in the people that he had surrounding him in this mall that he took care of. You know, like Steve from GNC loves him. Loves him. My dad used to fix everything in GNC for Steve because Steve couldn't get corporate to fix it, so my dad would come and fix it for him.
Oh, Steve.
I'm sure that drop ceiling in there, my dad installed it.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. It's too bad, dude, because I see it more and more, which is why I'm starting Whiteboard Worthy. Whiteboard Worthy is really a place for selfless individuals, the doers of the world, you know, risk takers and everything like that. Because I'm always coming back to, like, wanting that connection and yearning for deeper connections and you know, having meaning to my life. And I have that meaning by having connections, and people just, I don't know what it is, but people just are not selfless anymore. People don't, like, I'm a little selfish, but, like, people are not selfless at all.
Actually, I got to disagree with that.
Why?
There's less and less people that are selfless. Okay, but like, I've come across a few selfless people, and it's just even at work, you know, I pay attention to certain things. And like, just something as simple as a lady dropped her phone and didn't even realize it one day. And I believe I was walking up a sidewalk in the city, and this guy walks up, picks up the phone. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna keep this chick's phone. He runs up, knocks into people, and taps her on the shoulder like, hey, you dropped your phone.
Lost you, Ira. What the fuck just happened?
I
What
have
happened?
no idea what just happened.
My headset, like, tapped out, so I took them off and put my headphones in, and I lost you completely.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing shut down. Like, I had a phone call come in, I just hit the button, and then you ended up switching your buds, and then
we're gonna need an IT guy because this is just not.
Let's hire my dad.
So anyway, phone dropped. The guy ran up to the lady
and gave it right back to her. And you know, I was blown away because, you know, the way he picked it up, his movement and action, it literally felt like this man was going to pocket this lady's phone.
Yeah.
You know, and that was not the case. And as I was, you know, and I'm walking, because like I had to walk a couple miles to the store each day when I was working in the city. And I pondered that for quite a bit on my walk. And, you know, I was like, and I can't say it enough, I was blown away because that's not something I would have thought I would have seen in New York City, you know? And lo and behold, I saw it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I feel like all I do is look for like those selfless people, you know, people that have things that they believe in. You know, if you believe in nothing, you'll fall for anything. And I firmly believe that. And I have found myself in a position where I don't really feel like I see a lot of those selfless people these days. And that hurts me because I would do anything for anyone, man. I would, it might kill me, but I would truly try to figure it out if I could in any way. And it's always cool to see like people, you know, to actually witness those like kind acts, you know, people going a little out of their way and going that extra mile, because it just doesn't seem like the world is really paying attention on connecting anymore. And that,
it just seems more of what can you do for me? What can you give me?
yeah, that's all it is.
Like,
What
and
can,
yeah, what can you benefit me?
where does that, like, what does that,
Like, where does it come from? Where does that mindset come from?
is that taught? Is that a generation thing we taught everyone? Or
I don't think it could be a generation thing. It's just gotta be just that, like, I honestly can't explain it. Like, one thing I've definitely noticed is when I was growing up, I was a complete weirdo. Like, my dad, oh, back in my day, we didn't do this. I'm finding myself saying that about today's generation. So maybe it is a generation thing. You know, I can't understand these kids. You know, I try, but I can't. Just like my dad couldn't understand me and some of the stuff I was doing.
Maybe it's,
you know,
like
and so many other parents.
well, yeah. I mean, it could just be a heightened awareness now that we're, you know, a little older. You know, we notice these things, you know, where it just seems like connections are a thing of the past. I don't know, you know, it's like I think back to like the late 90s when, like, you know, people loved each other and people cared, and like, you know, they're, you know, having meaningful relationships was like important. And you know, I look at like a lot of like relationships from back in the day where people are married 40, 50, 60 years, and like I've got friends that are, and myself even, divorced inside of a couple years, and it's just like on to the next best thing. It's like relationships are so disposable these days, and I'm not entirely sure why that is, because
Kind of
it's,
like single serving sugar packets.
yeah, you use what you need. And
I was about to make another movie reference, but I'll spare you.
please spare me with the movie. Well, you're just a plethora of movie references
I'm
today.
sorry. You're just giving me so much ammunition.
I'm really not. I'm just working with what I got in my brain, man. I don't need to give you any ammunition. Must just be this week. I'm an easy target this week. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I've gotten a little emotional this week. You know, I was telling you I had a night last night. It didn't go so hot. You know, I let my emotions get the best of me, which doesn't happen often. But again, back to, if you believe in nothing, you'll fall for anything. And, you know, I seen a good opportunity. I won't go too far into it, but I seen a good opportunity to stick up for some things that I really, truly believed. And they weren't coming from a bad place. It's just, these are things that I believe so deeply that you will never and ever be able to sway me from. You will never be able to convince me that these few things that I was going at last night are things that can be taken from me, you know. And I got emotional. I let emotions get the best of me. And you know, I'd like to say I regret some of the things I said, but I don't.
Would
And
you change or tweak any of the words in a different connotation?
of course, I think we all would.
Okay.
I think, in retrospect, looking back on it, yeah, of course, I think we all could change some of the words or the way the words themselves were, sent, because the way you send a message and the way you receive a message are very different. I said it
Right.
to you before, what is in the scope of a person's comprehension, because you could say something that is extremely meaningful and someone may receive that as condescending or harsh or whatever. And yeah, I think we could always do a little bit better job at communicating things in a more, I don't know, positive way or whatnot. But as far as I'm concerned, everything happens for a reason.
Huh. I mean, I couldn't agree more with that. We may never know what the reasoning is until the reason reveals itself. But one way or another, we always end up figuring it. I mean, it comes to light one way or another. And the thing is, though, is like it gets a double-edged sword, because how you respond to certain things can change the whole dynamic of what's going to come.
Oh man, I wish I could remember this movie, Ira. I watched this movie last night. It almost brought me to tears. It like almost brought me to tears.
What
You
was it
know, and
about?
it was about so I for anyone that doesn't know, I've for some reason in the last couple months I've been really into like romantic comedy dramas. So rom-coms. Um, you have something to say? Do you have input on that? Great. So if you do have input, feel free to,
I love rom-coms.
I am a sucker for a rom-com. Truly. I am a sucker. Um, so last night, so I go searching for these things, Ira. I'm like, where's the best rom-com tonight? I'm like, where the fuck is Nicholas Sparks? I need to see the best rom-com. I want Matthew McConaughey in it. If he's not in it, I don't want to be
Oh, he's
involved.
the best.
Oh man, it's too bad he got away from rom-coms, but that's a conversation for a different day. Anyway, really into it. And so this movie is about a guy who gets pretty much everything he wants. The girl's like, has a woman ever said no to you? And he's like, no. So like she's like they go back and forth at first, and they're not flirting. They truly hate each other. They're neighbors, and of course their paths crossed in some way. They worked together. She had to bring her dog to the vet, and he was the vet. And they just kept running into each other, even though they were neighbors. They hated each other, and it was really adorable, man, because they ended up coming together, and he was like confessing all of his loves and to her in front of her at the time boyfriend, and they got married and they had a bunch of kids. And then one night, okay, now I brought this movie up for a reason. The movie started out by saying it's one of the most important things in life is all those little decisions you make that are truly so small and marginal that they are leading up to that really big decision. And that's where the movie started. And I was like, okay, where's this going? Tell me more. So I watched the movie, and so his wife got T-boned because he was late one night for dinner. He stood her up. It was their second dinner that he stood her up for. They were married at this point, had kids, but they still went out for dinners. And um, yeah, she got T-boned and was in a coma and was on life support, and he had to pull the plug, but he didn't, and she came out of the coma. So,
Mm.
and she was so sweet to him. It was just adorable. It was fucking adorable, man. If you don't appreciate a good rom-com, you can go away.
One of the best rom-coms, Chasing Amy.
Chasing Amy? Tell me about that. I don't know that one.
So it's about it's one of the Captain Smith movies that he had
Okay.
made going back. It's part of his Mallrats series. Not so much Mallrats, but like they all intertwine with like a lot of the same characters. And it's about this.
1997, Ira?
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's a great movie. And
Okay.
here's this girl, and she's a vocal lesbian, and there's these two guys that are trying to pick her up, and it just doesn't work out. But the process in between of them all coming together, they all ended up becoming great friends. And even though the two guys were trying to make a gay woman straight. The moral was more so, you know, the bigger picture was that these three people built this fucking bond, you know, that's far greater than, you know, what they were trying to achieve in the beginning. You know,
Yeah.
and they really achieved what they were trying to achieve, just not on the level that they were hoping it was going to be. You know, they wanted to be with her physically when, you know, obviously she's not attracted to people like that. And just the friendship that they built, you know, the bonds that they built in that friendship was so strong that it was, you know, much deeper than a physical relationship for one night.
There's nothing better than that, man. But maybe that's why I like rom-coms so much, because they're so intense. They're just so, they're fucking magnetic, man. Like I could feel the emotion that goes on in a rom-com. Like it gets me going, man. It makes me happy to see other people happy and fulfilled and loved and overcoming really ugly shit that no one should agree with. But in the face of love, you'll accept anything because love is love, and love doesn't make any sense at all. If you tried to break it down,
No, never does.
Sense. It's not meant to make sense. I've learned that the last couple months. I learned truly that love is not meant to make sense. Could you believe that?
Yeah, I could absolutely believe it.
I thought I'm a practical guy, and you know, I always thought love was supposed to make some kind of sense.
Well, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense, but in the bigger picture and the bigger scheme of things, dude, it's fucking chaos. And I don't mean chaos in the negative term of chaos. Like,
Yeah,
it's
of
just
course.
you never know what to expect because anything can happen at any moment. You know, that's life.
Yeah.
You know, but like one thing you can always rely on with love is change is inevitable. It's inevitable.
You could say that again. You could absolutely say that again, because change is the only constant thing I will ever feel in this life. And I realize that change is very scary to a lot of people. And it may sound simple, but people hate change. And I always preached it, and I'll continue to preach it till the end of time. Change is so important. It's so important to feel that change and change things, and take those risks, and take those leaps of faith, and take those chances on yourself, and be uncomfortable, right? Because if you can be uncomfortable, you'll learn that things really aren't that bad. When you do put yourself out there, it's really not that bad. Change is not bad. You know, change is good. It is okay to change. You have to change. If I was the same person I was 5 years ago today, I would have not ever made it. You know, you won't be able to make it in this world unless you do change.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, with it being inevitable, it's how we respond to that change. You know, me myself, I'm in a weird predicament when it comes to change. You know, because
Why?
sometimes I welcome change with like open arms. You know, but there's some times where there's just changes going on. I just cannot fucking wrap my head around it. Like there are certain things in life that I need routine, and when there's change, it's like a fucking monkey wrench getting thrown right in the gears. You know,
So
and it's
weird.
like, and you've witnessed this a number of times. You've seen me adapt to change like it was nothing, but you've also witnessed me just fucking go off the deep end, off the littlest shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, I that's something that I have not been able to really fully understand, and I'm never going to fully understand it, you know, but as I'm educating myself a little more with some of my ailments, you know, I'm learning more and more about, and one thing that's been sticking out with me a lot lately was my ADHD. You know, it's been at an all-time high, and there's a lot of things changing in me that I cannot understand. And in turn, that frustrates the fuck out of me. And all these little changes that are happening, I cannot control. And that throws me off the deep end, you know, because like when you have no control over, you know, certain functions of yourself, it's like, well, how the fuck am I going to get through this day? You know, I don't know what's going to happen. Like those types of things where, you know, your mind and body and soul is on a routine of itself and it only knows that way. And then it just one day just decides, hey, I'm going to go do this. I don't care what you feel. I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to change.
Yeah.
And that happens. And it's just like, dude, like a volcano fucking erupting in my brain. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's I think that's pretty consistent for a lot of people. You know,
and I'm
because
sure a lot of people can resonate with that, especially today, you know, with a lot of the changes that we're all going through right now. Like, we're like you said earlier, you know, we're in a very weird time period right now. You know, we have a lot of weird changes that are going on, but the thing is, though, is the changes that are happening, you know, we cannot control them. Even though they're being enforced to us, we have to, you know, follow suit with it, whether we like it or not, whether it be for public safety, personal safety, just overall general, everybody else's safety, you know, but not just safety, but just peace of mind. You know, like when COVID first happened, you know, how many of us were losing our fucking shit, just getting angry at everything being shut down, you know? But fast forward to a few months later and seeing how big this thing fucking got, you know, now we're like, well, fuck, why didn't we just shut everything completely down and then do what Italy did, do what fucking England did, do what, you know, all the other countries did, and just wipe that shit out? No, we're still fucking recycling this fucking virus over and over and over and over, you know, and we're constantly having to adapt and constantly change things, but the problem is still fucking persisting.
yeah.
You know, because we're not really fixing the actual problem at hand. We're just band-aiding it and placating people.
I think it's hard to really pinpoint what the problem is at this point. I think early on it would have been easier to say this is the problem, but there's too many hands in the pot, dude. There's too many people that have a fucking opinion on something that doesn't pertain to them. And I think that's something that we all feel in life. We all feel that, you know, people you know, giving us an opinion on things that have nothing to do with them. They have no experience over, and all they're really saying is, let me impose my will on you and what I believe, and maybe you'll believe it. And it's very consistent for people these days, man, where they just want to impose what they believe on people. There's too many people that have an opinion on things that don't fucking have anything to do with them. And people need to learn, sometimes you just have to be quiet.
Yeah.
It's I think that's the easiest and maybe the most effective way to do things. I can't speak for the government and all that shit. That is something that
that's way above our head.
I just want to see America in a place where we have good jobs, people love life, we can go out to the parks, we can go out to the restaurants, everyone has a job, and people aren't suffering the way that they have been. And sadly, we'll always suffer. There's, you know, I was reading something earlier about, you know, and I hate to get into politics, but I was reading something about the Biden administration earlier, putting aside something like $100 million plus for renting out hotel rooms for illegal immigrants. And look, an illegal immigrant in my eyes, compared to an American, is still a fucking person. They're still a fucking person, whether their skin color is different or they have legal status in this country. They're a person. They're meant to be treated with fucking dignity. That is how I see it. Okay?
I agree with you there. I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, that is entirely how I see it. Nothing more, nothing less. But I see something like that, and you do have to look at homelessness in America. You know, it's widespread. It's all over. It's getting worse. Can we get some money for that kind of shit? So again, it's just, these are things that are so above our heads, and there's probably thousands of podcasts and hundreds of millions of people talking about this every day right now as we speak, that have an opinion on this. But again, we need to stay in our lane, because frankly, I have an opinion on a part of the political system that I have no experience with. So who am I to impose what I think? You know, I'm just generalizing my thoughts on the situation, and my thoughts are a human should be treated as any other human. I don't care where the fuck they are in this world. They're still a human. They're to be treated with respect and dignity, and you're not supposed to, you know, do anything outside of that. But it's just it's too bad that so many people play a part in the way we do things in our lives, because frankly, we need to do a better job at just kind of doing what feels right to us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna stay away from the politic aspect of things.
Yes.
I have my own personal views. I don't impose, my thoughts. If somebody asks me a question, depending on if I feel that somebody can handle that conversation and handle what I have to say, and I don't expect anybody to agree with me, I'm not going to sit here and argue with somebody over what they feel is wrong with my thoughts and opinions. This is what I feel. You don't have to agree with it. You asked me a question, I gave you an answer. You don't like it, that's your problem to deal with.
Yeah.
And I find that people are getting too easily offended by shit that really shouldn't be offending them.
I agree.
And I look at that as misplaced anger. I also look at that as misguided thoughts, not just misguided thoughts, but also just a lack of education, a lack of compassion, a lack of thoughts, a lack of empathy, a lack of a lot of different things within themselves. And so therefore they're so easily offended because they're already lacking so many different things that they're craving certain types of attention and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's on the money, dude, because Gary Vaynerchuk always says it. Everyone could use a little bit more empathy, and to be kind and, just be a good person and do your thing. And, that's just, it's like, it's kind of gross to see, how certain people act with these things. But I'm pretty simple when it comes, especially with the politics. I mean, you could come at me. I mean, and I'm sure people could pick apart what I just said in some way, because yeah, if you look at what I just said, there's probably some flaws in it. But
Absolutely, there's always going to be flaws in it because we don't completely understand it, and we'll never completely understand it.
Yeah, I just know for me, I think every person should be treated with dignity. If you're treated with dignity, if you treat people with dignity, you deserve it in return.
But I mean, that's just
And
basic human rights. That's not American rights. That's not English rights. That's not Spanish rights. That's, it's human rights. We're all human. We all bleed the same color.
yeah,
Like, regardless, we all bleed the same color. We're all human. Like, we might have different shades of skin, different cultures, but at the end of the day, we're all fucking people. And that's something I feel that, so many people seem to completely forget, or they just completely neglect to even acknowledge, because they
yeah.
want to be so right. They want to be righteous. They want this. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be righteous, but, fight a righteous battle.
I think if you're being righteous, that doesn't mean you have to be right, because I like to think I am a righteous individual 99% of the day. And I can tell you right now that I am unpopular to a lot of people.
You definitely are.
I am easily one of these most unpopular individuals because I fight a righteous fight in my mind, at least, and I'm okay with being unpopular. I'm not here to just make a nice impression in people's lives. I want to make an impact. And frankly, that means being unpopular and not liked by everyone, because what? I mean, yeah, I understand the people pleaser side of things, but there's certain things, again, you won't sway me on. But you don't have to be right if you're righteous.
Mm.
It's not always about being right. It's not always about getting the last laugh. It's not always about the last word. It's in more times than not, it's usually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Where are we at with time, Ira?
So, I mean, we're on the money right now.
Are we?
I actually, you inspired me for a topic for next week.
Did I?
The importance of journaling.
Okay. Why? What, when
We
or
can talk about
how?
the how, what, where, why, and all that next week.
I'm gonna call you when I get off of this, because I need to know now. You're not gonna. You can leave that clickbait for somebody else. You can leave that anticipation for somebody else. Not me.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I know
Okay. Give us.
this is a topic you'll really relish into.
I like to
and here's the
relish.
thing, and I can definitely fall into that because I have a lot of experiences of journaling.
I love
I might not
journaling.
journal anymore, but I journaled when I needed it, and it got me through some very tough fucking shit.
I wonder how people like that are out like partying and like doing whatever with their lives. What do you think they feel inside of a day? Do you think they feel that kind of angst to journal and like because I started to journal out of angst and pain and anger and
Yes.
you know, yeah.
It's just journaling took a different method to them. Facebook,
Yeah.
social media.
Woo! So you think some people journal in different ways?
Absolutely.
You, my friend, might be the next Sigmund Freud. You may have figured it out. Ira, did you notice I shaved this week?
Oh, yeah. The scruffy scruff is gone.
Yeah, I start a new job tomorrow, believe it or not.
Yes, he does.
Amongst other jobs that I already have, I will be going back to work full time tomorrow. Thank God. I'm very excited, which means my schedule just got a whole lot busier.
Oh, yeah. And I return back to work tomorrow, too. I've been cleared.
That's very exciting. Anyway, it's been a great episode, Ira. I think we covered some good deeds this episode.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we covered some good deeds.
And I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
Ira, lastly, 99% of people will not do what it takes to chase their dreams. So I hope whatever you do this week, and I hope for my own sake, whatever I do, that we are amongst the 1% of people that will do what it takes to chase your dreams, even if that means being unpopular by most. Right? I really mean that. I think we had a great episode. Any closing thoughts for our audience, Ira?
I mean, just keep tuning in, subscribe, keep following us. And I really want to see some parodies on TikTok of us, man. I really want to see what you guys think of me.
If you guys are looking to follow us on TikTok, you can look us up at the handle OB Podcast. On Blast Podcast. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, of course, at On Blast Podcast or the On Blast official handle. It's been a great week. First week, we're in spring. Summer's great. You guys see, I'm doing the podcast outside today. I'm very excited. I'm actually in the shed, but I got both doors open, so it feels like I'm outside. Anyway, Ira,
it looks like you're outside.
Wishing you well on your first day back to work. I'm happy you're feeling nice and healthy.
And you as well.
Oh, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. I really mean that. I'm extremely skeptical of what tomorrow has in store, but I know damn well it will be a good day. So, yeah, that's all I got, guys. If you haven't already, again, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, and hit the little bell so you get notified when we post new content. Ira, you know where to find me if you need me, buddy. As for everyone else, see you next week.